So if a guy was found, who killed 3 cops, his lawyer would say, well, he had marijuana before, so he was insane, so he can't do anything. And people were getting on charges, like cop killing, for example, on the claim that they had marijuana. So all of a sudden it was discovered that marijuana doesn't make you insane. Congress decided, sorry, it doesn't make you insane, because we want to wipe that out. The next idea was marijuana is an entry drug. It's a drug you take and then you go on to something else. Well, there was never any evidence for that. But that was decided. And then in the early 50s, something else happened. Marijuana is being brought in here by red Chinese to poison the American population and destroy us. So therefore, we got to stop marijuana. And it kind of goes on like this. Actually, the peak of marijuana use was, as I said, in the 70s. But that was rich kids, so you don't throw them in jail. And then it got seriously criminalized. You really throw people in jail for it when it was poor people. There has never been a medical reason for criminalizing marijuana.
Tonight's episode, mental slavery. How does it work? Who benefits? Can we end mental slavery today? What would it take to end mental slavery as we know it? Abolish it for all time. The only separation from our ideals and our practices is this mental slavery. The barriers that the mind, and only the mind, enforces by way of a herd mentality that is manipulated by authority and perpetuated through ignorance, such that my people suffer. It is the purpose of Physician for the People to end human suffering, ending mental slavery. Our mission, ending mental slavery. It is the purpose of Physician for the People to end human suffering, to end mental slavery. What we can do as human beings is untested. The limits of compassion are unknown. What we can do for the joy of giving is yet to be discovered. And this is our research project, to investigate where human beings can grow in their kindness and their ability to love each other, and to provide the truest medicine, the truth of human kindness, of loving awareness, of compassion, not only to those who need to receive, but to those who need again to learn how to give. Those with much, with abundance, but in that abundance it rots, for it is stagnant. For so many hunger and want and in deprivation. From these stark states of inequality, we find our people at this time suffering unnecessarily. And it is our objective as Physician for the People to end this suffering today. Cannabis community, what do we want? Tonight's episode, mental slavery. How does it work?
True compassion is ruthless compassion. He said you're never going to help anyone if all you do is hand out crutches and reinforce their weakness. He said you must find and support their strength if you want to help people. And he doesn't try to sugarcoat it either. He's taking a real hard look at these things. And he's calling it like he sees it. Maybe a medicine man. For his diagnosis and his prescription for what ails humanity, and his ability to find this problem and track it back to its roots. Well, I think he's unmatched in his field at this ability. But if you're looking for someone to gently tear off the Band-Aid to expose the wounds, well, maybe you need to look somewhere else, because as one Chinese medicine instructor told me one time, he said, true compassion is ruthless compassion. Is ruthless compassion. He said, you're never going to help anyone if all you do is hand out crutches and reinforce their weakness. He said, you must find and support their strength, support their strength if you want to help people. He said, you must find and support their strength if you want to help.
Cannabis community. I am Dr. Ram Thoreau, and this is Physician for the People. I have some bad news. We are at the precipice of technological utopia, and yet the more we have, the more it seems we treat each other like doo-doo pies. And I don't know how we're going to get out of this one. I got Mr. Mental Stamina on mic 2. I'm talking to the people all over the world, because I want to tell you, you are tuned into right now the center of cannabis community in the entire world. This is the District of Cannabis at Listen Vision Studios, 2622 in the District of Cannabis. You know, tonight after our show, we have Cold Culture. Cold Culture, one of the finest programs in the cannabis space in the entire country. Friday night, starting at 9 o'clock, WLVS. On Saturday night, we have another great cannabis entertainment program coming to you from only Listen Vision Studios. Right? Saturday night, who you got? You got, of course, Real Deal Farms. They'll wrestle your mind to the ground. On Sunday, who you got Sunday? You got Phone Homie. Probably the preeminent cannabis broadcaster in the country, Phone Homie. I dare you to watch that program and have a fucking good time. Monday night, DC Pharma. You want to learn how to grow at home? You want to know about no-till? That's, your soil's real healthy. It's an easy way to get your soil so healthy your plants are fucking awesome. Right, Monday night, that's DC Pharma. Tuesday night, personal favorite, Jay All Day. Right? You know what he's doing? It's called District Dabbers. Show called District Dabbers. Motherfucker makes a movie every Tuesday. Wednesday night, new show. Blunts and BS. Thursday night, Blonde Deuce. Thursday night, Blood Facts. Now that's what I'm talking about, cannabis entertainment. Right? It's at WLVS 2622 right here, and you're tuned in to my favorite show, Physician for the People. I'm Dr. Ram Thoreau. Mental Stamina's on mic 2. I got a near-death experience going on in the hip-hop, but I tell you one more thing. I don't know if you noticed, but we're at a point right now where mental slavery, just the ability of human beings to be cruel to each other, is what's keeping us from making this planet the heaven on earth it's meant to be. And the purpose of this program is to end mental slavery ASAP. It comes from turning on your higher self, y'all, in the cannabis community. Every time they take on the cannabis, they go to the higher self. That higher self, y'all, that higher self is what frees us from the mental slavery. And I'm asking y'all, I'm asking the cannabis community right now, what do you want? What do we want as a community? Cannabis community, what does I want? The call to justice is in fact the remedy. If you ask, you will receive. Now, I want to ask you one more thing. You know who when we say Jah Rastafari, what are we really saying? We're talking about the ethical sayings of His Imperial Majesty, Haile Selassie. And in that context, His Imperial Majesty, Jah Rastafari, says, if each and every one endeavors to cooperate and work in as much as his capacity permits, our faith rests upon that the Almighty God will bless the results for all. What blesses one, what truly blesses one, blesses all. Cannabis community, what's your blessing? How do you get naturally high? Because your blessing is everyone's blessing. Your high is everyone's high. Make it so. Mr. Jacob, take me out. I got no more homilies for this one.
Physician for the People, Friday night, 8 o'clock, Listen Vision Studios. The call to justice is the remedy. The call to high-mindedness comes from the healer within. The healer within is the endocannabinoid system. The cannabis community has developed the endocannabinoid system, has developed a culture of kindness, and is leading this country and this time to a new future. Cannabis community, physician for the people, here for our community. What is in our best interests? Cannabis community. What do we want? Cannabis community. What do you want? Cannabis community. What do I and I want? The call to justice is the remedy. The call to high-mindedness comes from the healer within. The healer within is the endocannabinoid system. The cannabis community has developed the endocannabinoid system, has developed a culture of kindness, and is leading this country and this time to a new future. Cannabis community, physician for the people. Cannabis community, physician for the people. Live, Friday night, 8 o'clock, Listen Vision Studios. Cannabis community, physician for the people. Live.
I'm not in this world to live up to your expectations. Neither are you here to live up to mine. I don't owe no one, no obligations. No one owe me none, so everything is fine, fine. I said I am, I am, I am, I am. I am, I am, I am, I am, I am. I am, I am, I am, I am. I am that I am, I am, I am, I am. Learn to love your brother. Don't covet your neighbor. Flee from the city, it's getting shitty. It is filled without equity. I said I am that I am, I am, I am. I am that I am, I am, I am, I am. I am that I am, I am, I am, I am. Learn to love.
Cannabis community, I am Dr. Ram Thoreau. This is Physician for the People, and it's my distinct privilege to have Incredibles of DC in my show. Jennifer and Odarte, thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having us.
Oh my goodness, look at these guys. They're so beaming. They're putting on an incredible event tomorrow. Let's start off with that. Let's start off with what's good for the community. What's going on?
Okay, well, our whole premise is to create events that expose the medicinal qualities of marijuana, as well as expose the psychological value of it as well. You know,
Awesome.
We want to build a community around our events. So people bartering, people sharing, you know, networking, music involved, social activism.
Yes.
So we are trying to create a space that's multi-purpose so people can feel free to explore their ideas, not only just sort of like
Right.
consume
Right,
or,
right.
or sort of produce marijuana products. So
Yeah, there's something above and beyond. That's why I asked you guys on. You guys are getting a physical space.
We are tomorrow.
Unbelievable.
Yes, Adams Morgan.
Tell me more.
So we will be in Adams Morgan near Trist in the Timery building on the 3rd and 4th floor, as well as the rooftop.
Oh,
So we
that's
have
awesome.
3 roof, yes.
Nice.
25 vendors.
25 vendors, y'all.
Yes.
We're
Everyone has
so
something
grateful.
wonderful differently.
so grateful.
Yes, so grateful. We've had a great turnout so far, and we're
Right on.
excited about tomorrow.
I could just see it in your vibe, right? You can just see how these people are reacting and activating the cannabis community, right? One of the things why I wanted to ask you on the show is because you were sharing with me, right, the personal travails that you've met. Like you actually had to talk about this with your mom.
Yes.
Right? Those are the conversations. You guys are a couple.
Yes.
You're in business.
Yes.
How is this working for you? I mean, really, how did you guys meet, and how does cannabis play into your lives? Because it's a success story, y'all. Share your success with me.
I mean, personally, weed has been part of my life since I was a child. My parents are from Ghana, and my dad smokes weed.
What does he call it?
My
By the
parents
way.
are hippies, huh?
What does he call it, by the way? If he's from Ghana, what is there? A Ghana
Weed,
name?
ganja.
Ganja, daga. Right?
No. They're like, Odate, where's my weed? Oh, why have you stolen my weed?
Oh, that's bad.
I want to find my weed. And I used to go to my dad's pocket and take little buds, like a little at a time. And then I went to my sister because all my sisters smoke. I got 4 sisters. And I was like, listen, do you guys ever take weed from dad?
Yes.
And they were like, of course. And they were like, why don't you take the whole bag? Like, what's he going to say to you?
That is funny.
Yeah. The first time I realized how far away from us women are.
Well, wow. Thank God they are too, because I don't know about you, but
So I'm still getting weed from my
right,
dad.
exactly. I still get that weed from my dad.
Yes.
I wish I could get weed from my dad. Imagine that, right? And you took on that conversation with your mom, and somehow
Right.
she's like, "Oh, that CBD helped me, hon. Where can I get some?" I think that
Right,
took
exactly.
another kind of
She's
bravery.
very, very open. I think for our generation, it's very different than obviously our parents. So, we're kind of paving the way in a
Yes,
way
you
with
are.
cannabis for our parents,
Yes.
I feel like sometimes they maybe have missed out and, they don't really understand the great benefits that it can have.
Right on.
It's about enjoying life. It's not about being high.
Right on, right. And,
You know?
and that's
a good way
the
to
real
put it.
difference, if I can ask you.
Yeah.
Different people have different issues. I myself, I've got outstanding pain in my life every day. I have a broken neck since the age of 11. That's why I'm a physician, because I had to find out how to get my own pain under control.
Right.
And cannabis works for me in a way that I can't describe to other people when they don't have endocannabinoid deficiency. If people don't have pain in their life, they get really high sometimes. And I for the life of me, I feel like I get normal. I feel like I honestly goodness, I relax. And it's hard for me to explain that to
the same
people.
way.
And that's the thing I want to share. Like your experience is like, how does cannabis work for you? Is it medicinal? Is it recreational? How do you put it? What category? How do you describe it? Its values.
I mean, I would definitely say it's medicinal for me. I mean, I have struggled with anxiety probably most of my life, but as I'm under stress and pressure, obviously it magnifies. And I was never open to being one of those people that were like on anti-anxiety medication because, you can handle it yourself, but you don't really. You just convince yourself you are. And I just decided that I was going to try a different route, and I started using CBD. And I'm in corporate finance, and so being an executive, you have to be able to function completely mentally, but you want to feel wonderful while you do it, and that's what CBD does for me.
Right.
So
It allows you to work at your full capacity.
absolutely, I mean,
Yes.
I was an executive level CFO before I started this business.
Hon, I heard that you've been flying jets. That you are.
Yes,
that
I
CF
worked for a private jet company previously. Yes, I was the
Cannabis
director of
community.
finance.
Look at cannabis does not make you dumb.
Does not.
Does not. Right? Cannabis is natural Ritalin, y'all. And cannabis is fix what ails you. All right?
Absolutely.
Bottom line. Whatever it is, right? Somehow it's a reboot switch, and that's what it was for me. And I want to get everyone's story on how it worked for them.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
One of the things I'm very fascinated because you guys have a couple, and I can see your sweet couple energy. Honest to goodness. For real, how does cannabis work in your private life? In other words, do you save issues and say, listen, we're not going to talk about it until actually later, or we're going to talk about it now? Like, in other words, how does cannabis work in like conflict mediation? How does cannabis work after a long day? You guys?
I really feel like for a while, definitely with the stress of my job, and I really didn't enjoy my last position at the end, and so I was struggling of what to do next, and wasn't sure I wanted to stay in finance, and I was under a lot of pressure, and I noticed my anxiety was getting worse and worse and worse. And I noticed that it was taking a toll on our relationship. And, you know, there's enough things in life to struggle with. And, you know, your own emotions that you cannot control through anxiety is not something you need to maintenance that, you know. And so I noticed that I was taking it out on him, and I didn't really know what to do. And I started reading about CBD and just decided to start taking it. And
wow. And also to become more empathetic to your relationship.
Oh,
and,
talk to me, brother.
You know, as a man,
Yes, sir.
not being so I don't really have an attitude to confront emotional issues as such.
Right.
When I smoke, it helps me to come down to a level where I can speak my truth and I can open up with her, and then we can actually start resolving problems in our relationship. So it's sort of like,
absolutely.
here's what we've decided is the problem. What do we do to sort it out? So
Spoken like a gentleman.
yeah,
Right.
And I mean we both, because I mean I'm a stock trader. I mean I trade options, so I'm trading from home like
Right.
all day long. You know, and she was made redundant, and she was at home, and this is when we started developing this idea to redirect her energy, because obviously I'm watching the markets all the time because of all the tax cuts. All the executive positions aren't really hiring.
So when
right
you say she became redundant, in other words, you've done well enough that you could basically say hum. You could say home.
yeah, I mean,
Yes.
Yeah, okay,
I mean,
in a nice way, yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay, so yeah. So
And then
then
we-
you have
and-
to
So I could
make
find a
a
different
choice.
avenue of what
And
I
we
was
have to
really
fi- we have to
passionate
figure
about.
That's what it's about.
we have
Yes.
to figure out
Way
how
to
to,
go.
how to take the energy,
Yes.
redirect it into something that's positive and to help
Right
other
on.
people. So,
Right.
Absolutely.
I mean, we have our own like personal ministry and mission that we do for the homeless in our neighborhood, taking them into our home and feeding them and giving them clothing and letting them sleep at our house. And
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Is that part of the business, or is that like a nonprofit? Or
no, we just like see someone.
It's
who
just our
needs help
ministry as
and
a
just
couple.
Go and take them in.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Right? Cannabis community. Right. These are the people in our community. And this is what happens when your heart is open.
Absolutely.
Right? And cannabis keeps that heart space open. That's what I've observed. And when I ask people to share the stories, this is what I hear. That is the most beautiful, touching thing. And it also tells me that's how I know is going to be successful. That's how I know you are going to be successful. Because that generosity spirit, y'all, you can see it. Like creates like, attraction creates law of attraction. Their generosity is what then all of a sudden, oh my God, I'm attracted. I wanted to actually get you on the show.
And I mean,
Thank you
I don't
very
know
much.
why.
We really appreciate
and I
it.
mean, I have PTSD. I mean, she knew that when we met.
Yes, sir.
She has anxiety. Like on paper, it probably shouldn't work. We both have stressful jobs in finance.
Right.
But like, I don't know. You know, we just find a common ground. You know, it's spiritual, I guess. I know it is.
Right, I'm stunned. You know when I can't say anything, I'm stunned. I want to ask you one more sweet question, share your sweet story, and then I'm going to let you go because I know you're busy. We all got stuff to do.
Yes. We
So-
have our party
You
tomorrow.
get your party tomorrow. Okay.
3 to
what's-
8, Adams Morgan.
Exactly. How do we make sure? How do we make sure? We got your friend. We got your friend on
Yes,
the line.
so- yes.
Let's bring him on right now. He's on the phone. And let's see what he got to say. Hello. And you hear me?
Hello,
Turn down your
everybody.
radio.
Hootie.
Hootie.
That's me. How's everybody doing this evening?
Oh, bring
We're
it.
great.
That's our grower.
Come on down. I heard so many good things about you, Mr. Grower. Come on, tell us your story and give us your power, my brother.
Well, I'm a 26-year veteran to the Emerald Triangle. I am trying to out to the public the best quality product that they can have, the best organics that they can get without having to worry about, what's in the bag of medicine that you're getting.
Right on. What's your favorite strain to grow?
My favorite strain right now is probably our Berry Bomb or my Cheese Bomb.
Oh, geez.
Cheese Bomb is a Edam Bomb cross. It's a great producer. It's very aromatic. The effects of it are a lot more energetic. They're a pick you up type of strain.
Right. Do you think the THCV translated from that original Exodus cheese to that cheese bomb? I've tried a couple different cheese strains. I've not tried the cheese bomb. Does it
The
lift
cheese
you?
bomb
Yeah.
is the original cheese crossed with bomb seeds, signature strain THC bomb.
Oh, nice.
It brings the yield up, and it brings the
Brilliant.
content up to the mid to high 20s.
Wow. One of the things, about the original Exodus
Yes.
cheese, it was known to be a little bit of a low THC, but no ceiling. So this brings up that. You guys have
That's
got the
where
best
THC
grower.
bomb
We
steps
do.
in.
We've been very blessed.
You got the
Very
best
blessed.
strains. Where are you going to be at tomorrow?
We're going to be in Adams Morgan, in the building with Tyree,
Right.
4th floor, 5th floor, 3rd floor.
And this man's beautiful flowers are going to be there with us.
Yes, absolutely.
The cheese mom.
Absolutely.
You going to put it there for me?
Of course.
I'm coming. Cannabis community, you know where to go. Adams Morgan tomorrow. Incredibles of DC. Thank you for joining us, Mr. O'Darte. Give me one more.
And shout out to Jaw Wellness and Mind Relief as well.
Yes,
Other
definitely.
growers trying to pump out, good medicine to
Great
people.
Absolutely.
How can you go wrong? It's the plant, y'all. Listen, I got nothing dramatic to say. Everybody, speak their piece. Mr. Grower, you're all on the line. You want to say anything else before you shout out? Listen,
Well,
sir.
I'm just hoping everybody gets a chance to come out to the event tomorrow. Incredibles of DC. They make some of the most incredible chocolates you've ever had in your life, and I look forward to getting some more of them myself.
That's right. All right, y'all. That's it. That's the final word for the segment.
Thanks, Hootie.
Thank you, Hootie.
Thank you, Mr.
See you
Hootie. Right on, Cannabis community. We'll be back at 2 and 2. Mr. Jacob, take me to a zone.
Don't wanna get busted. Don't wanna get busted. I'm getting disgusted. They cannot be trusted. End up in jail. And you never get paid. Got to face a judge. And if you're rich, him will grudge. I'm getting disgusted. I don't want to get busted. They cannot be trusted. I don't know who don't get disgusted. Man want to walk free. He want to smoke free. Out of captivity. Cause he's getting disgusted. And he don't want to get busted. Don't wanna get busted. Don't wanna get busted. I'm getting disgusted. They cannot be trusted. End up in jail. And you never get paid. Got to face a judge. And if you're rich, him will grudge. I'm getting disgusted. I don't want to get busted. They cannot be trusted. I don't know who don't get disgusted. Man want to walk free. He want to smoke free. out of captivity. Cause he's getting disgusted. And he don't want to get busted.
This is Psalms 24 without apology. Muta Maruka and Luciana. Trust me.
The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof.
The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof.
The world and they that
dwell therein. For he had found it upon the sea,
you found it on the sea,
and established it upon the flood.
Establish it on the flood.
Who shall ascend in the hill of Jah? Or who shall stand in his holy place?
Who shall stand in the holy place?
He that hath clean hands and a pure heart, who hath not lifted up his soul into vanity, nor sworn deceitfully. He hath received the blessing from Jah and righteousness from the Almighty of his salvation. This is the generation of them that seek him.
This is the generation that seek him, the Most High God.
That seek thy face, O Jacob.
Seek thy face, O Jacob. Oh, yeah, right.
Lift up your heads, O ye gates,
lift up
and be lifted up, ye everlasting doors.
Cannabis community, I am Dr. Ram Thoreau. This is Physician for the People. Cannabis prohibition seems to be coming to an end, but fuck all. YouTube says they're purging its cannabis content. Jorge Cervantes and Vader OG, as well as 300 YouTube cannabis channels have been deleted. YouTube's reason for suspending the channels was actually saying that too many people were complaining. So I don't know if you know this about what's going on with YouTube. Actually, YouTube is being running on a new algorithm. The new algorithm promotes different videos to be viral. So now, all of a sudden, in the last 6 months, people have been getting new cannabis content into their newsfeed, and they've been complaining. And in fact, it seems to be an entire number of trolls who are dedicated to complaining about cannabis channels. And so the upshot is that YouTube has been deleting these channels. Now, cannabis community, this is a modern day book burning. Right, this is what that is. It's a modern day book burning, right? And the only way to really realize that we have to stop supporting these channels and these mediums that do not support the cannabis community, right? If someone has something to say about cannabis, say it to us now. You need us. Now, His Emperor, Haile Selassie, life is like the theater. One mustn't try to understand it all at once and immediately. It is no longer amusing. No, we should be into the next one already. We should be in the next video. Yeah, that was the second homily. No.
Racism had nothing to do with humans. It doesn't. It's dealing with the two sons, the white son and the black son. And the black son is trying to help us to get outside of this matrix that we're stuck in. So they're taking all their anger out on the black son. And the black race is representing the black son. So that's why they're always killing the black people and hating on the black people and doing this and that to the black race because of the black son. If they can't get to the black son, they're going to take it out on the black race. You see what I'm saying, people? Are you following along? Are you comprehending?
The white sun is feeding our bodies, bones, and blood, all physical matter. The black sun materializes all of our intent, hence why we close our eyes when we make a wish on our birthdays. And this is why we say Amen during prayer. The god Amun, where we get the phrase Amen from, is the black sun, often translated as the hidden one. He is one half of Amun Ra, the Egyptian personification of this two-sided sun.
Energetically, the white sun is the collective consciousness of our higher selves, and the black sun is the subconscious. Like our subconscious, the black sun is out of our immediate perception. The collective
Cannabis community. This is Dr. Ram Thoreau with Physician for the People. We have a new segment. It's a call-in portion. You can call in right now on the number on the bottom of your screen. We have the first caller. Caller, can you hear me? Caller, are you there?
Hello.
Caller, do you have a question for Dr. Ram Thoreau? I am listening.
This is George Shersky from Chicago.
Oh.
I got this pure breed dog from the Azore Islands. It's called an Azorean hump hound. Now I know how the breed got its name because he wants to hump anything and everything he can get his wiener on.
Well, sir.
I'm going crazy if I can't get this dog to stop screwing everything
Sir.
in sight. I was wondering if you got any kind of pooch pot to calm him down.
Sir, there is no pooch pot.
You
Pooch
got
pot.
any doggy doobies that'll get his doggy dick
Sir.
to go limp?
Sir, doggy doobies, I don't know if you have the right
You
doggy
got
doobie.
any reefer for this oversexed rover?
Oversexed Sir, I don't know if you've called the right program. This is Physician for the
Rover
People.
reefer.
For the people, sir.
You
We're-
got any 420 from my frisky Fido?
420 Frisky
Oh,
Fido.
420
10-4.
for his Frisky Fido. Oh, my fucking God.
Have some cannabis
Frisky
for
Fido.
this canine who thinks he's Ron Jeremy.
Holy
Ron Jeremy.
That's just wrong.
Probably.
Cannabis
Ron
community.
Jeremy has
Jacob,
more
I
hair
told you
than
to screen his
dog.
fucking calls. Listen, we're on. Take me to. This is not funny anymore. You did this on purpose. You did this on purpose. This is one of your fucking college buddies. Damn it. Damn it.
What's going on?
That's the way you turn people into automata. You control them, separate them from one another, drive any human instinct out of their heads, make them see themselves as nothing in life except adding to my useless commodities. And I don't care about anybody else because you're not supposed to care. If you can get to that point, then you really have people under control. You don't need security forces. I mean, we have a tremendous amount of privilege and freedom, just incomparable. There's nothing in the world like it. The question is, do we want to use it? I mean, they can act to a certain extent. They cannot counteract organized, active public opinion. I mean, you can't even do that in a dictatorship. That's almost impossible in a more free society. That's why there's so much propaganda, to try to prevent people from using the power that they have, either by marginalizing them or isolating them or making them passive consumers or making them feel hopeless or whatever. A huge amount of effort goes into that. Probably $1 trillion a year goes into marketing, which is mostly just attitude control. Try to make people passive consumers who don't do anything. But they don't have to agree to that. You can change it. First of all, it's all reversible. I mean, the means of controlling people by violence have mostly disappeared in countries like the United States. In fact, if you look at the history of propaganda, it was developing precisely out of a very conscious understanding on the part of privileged sectors, elites, that they were losing the capacity to control the population by force. Just people had won too much freedom. They wouldn't submit to force, couldn't do it. So therefore you had to control attitudes and opinions. And the way you do that is in part by indoctrination and the school system and the news and that sort of thing. But in large part, the way of controlling opinions and attitudes was understood right away to be inducing hopelessness, making people feel helpless, and isolated.
Cannabis community. 2018 is the year of cannabis. I don't know if you know it already, but it's the new cheddar cheese. All the politicians used to be fucking prohibitionists, now want your vote. The last one to fucking come out of the closet says, oh, cannabis is okay, is Dianne the fuck Feinstein. Fuck her. She just said, oh my God, listen to her statement. Listen to this generous bitch. She says, federal law enforcement agents should not arrest Californians who are adhering to California law. All right, she was at that same hearing where Sessions goes, good people don't smoke marijuana. She co-sponsored that fucking same hearing. There she is. Okay? Do not vote for this woman because she is the same fucker who puts people in jail for nonviolent offenses. In 1994, she sponsored the legislation, 3 strikes and you go to fucking jail forever. And the 3rd strike, when they say, hey, let's not make it like nonviolent offenses. No, she says, no, fuck you. Go to jail. Right? This is the bitch who puts people in jail for weed. Now she says, all right, you can vote for me. I'm going to say, the cops shouldn't arrest you in California. Right, California. Now she's got opposition from somebody in California who's running against her. Now remember that. Oh, California's a redneck state. California's a redneck state. Ronald Reagan comes out of fucking California. Fuck California.
Betcha. He's a drugstore truck driving man.
All right, now listen to what I got to say for her. You know, the Emperor Haile Selassie, he has this to say. Now, Jacob, I want you to hit this. It is much easier to show compassion to animals. They are never wicked. Fuck Dianne Feinstein.
Separate one another. Make sure that they don't interact. Unlike the ideal society would be based on dyad. You know, you and the two, but no further interaction among people, because that's dangerous. And a lot of what's been going on over the last century, and is going on right at this moment, is about that. Because it is understood that things like Medicare, Social Security, schools, other such things are based on an unacceptable principle that has to be driven out of people's minds. It's the principle that you're supposed to care about somebody else. Okay? That you're supposed to care as a member of a democratic community. You're supposed to care whether the widow on the other side of town starves. And you've got to drive that out of people's heads. Because if people have those ideas, they might act on them. And if they act on them, they're going to dismantle the whole system of domination and control. So those ideas have to be driven out of people's heads. They have to be made to believe that their entire worth depends on their own consumption of useless commodities. I mean, that's the way you turn people into automata. You control them. Separate them from one another, drive any...
Cannabis community, I'm Dr. Ram Thoreau. You are at the centerpiece of cannabis culture in the United States. Listen Vision Studios, 2622 in the District of Cannabis, right on Georgia Avenue. Hey, thank you very much. Look at the carpenters bring carpets, the plumbers bring plums, and Mind Relief brings me lollies. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Shout out to my friend Mind Relief. Right on. We want to talk about what's going on in Seattle. Seattle, the voters in Seattle. We legalized weed in Washington State, but listen to what the voters have done. The voters have forced the mayor to vacate hundreds of marijuana charges going back 30 years in Seattle. If you've been busted for weed in Seattle, they take it off the fucking out. You're erased. All right, for 30 years, if you've been busted. Now that is what democracy's for. That is what Physician for the People is standing for. When we say to the government, you take my name off the fucking list because now it's legal, right? And you go back 30 years, retroactive. You take that shit out, and I don't want to be known as a fucking misdemeanor or a felon. Just erase that shit now. Now that's what they did, right? I gotta read this because it is beautiful. This is the way it's supposed to read. As we see marijuana sold in retail storefronts today, people who simply had a joint in their pocket a decade ago still have a red mark on their records. It's long past time we remedy the drug policies of yesteryear, and this one small step to the right to right the injustices of a drug war that has primarily targeted people of color. I'm hopeful that the court will choose to clear these charges, right? Cannabis community, it impacts all of us to be in a society that actually targets any citizen and makes them less than. People of color, people who are poor, people on the left, people who are disabled. For any reason, if this society predates on people who have less for any reason, this society is sick. And every rise in totalitarianism and fascism comes from this sickness. The failure of the people to actually get their needs met is why we have Trump today. Now, cannabis community, when Seattle takes the criminal charges off of its own citizens, that's when we are avoiding the fascism that we are leading to today with Trump. And I want you to know that. Use your vote. Use it for the right reason. make sure they work for us. Now, in these words, I'm going to quote again from his emperor, Haile Selassie. A well-informed public opinion is essential to the growth of political and social awareness. Only he who is informed can comment intelligently on his nation's development. And only by such comments can errors be corrected and progress be stimulated. Cannabis community, that's us.
The disorders that I suffer from are multiple congenital cartilaginous exostosis and a variant of the syndrome pseudo-hypoparathyroidism. In lay terms, what it means is bone tumors that grow outwardly from the long bones such as this, grow outwardly into the muscles and the veins, stretching the muscles and the veins, making it very painful. And more important, any kind of movement can tear the muscle or tear the vein, and I could hemorrhage and a clot could break off, go to my heart, my brain, my lungs, I'm dead. I usually try to get in, if I can, 10 to 12 marijuana cigarettes per day. What the cannabis definitely does is relax the muscles going over these tumors. Thereby, I can move and not have to worry about tearing anything. I'm ready to go to work and I try to make some money for myself and my clients. More important for my clients. When people see me taking my medicine, they don't understand that it's medicine, and they think all I'm trying to do is get high, and that I've got some kind of balls to be able to do it in public. Of course, I try to explain to them right away that it's medical use provided by the federal government, and I'm sure most people just kind of laugh and go, "Yeah, right." I became the second person in the United States to receive medical cannabis from the federal government. Robert Randall was the first patient.
We welcome to Larry King Live, Bob Randall, the first American ever to gain legal access to marijuana because of his glaucoma condition. Why are you allowed to use these, Robert?
I have a disease called glaucoma, and marijuana at this point is the only drug that will help prolong my sight.
You could smoke it now legally, couldn't you?
Sure.
Okay, yes.
This is a first.
I want you to know, Larry.
I spent 27 years with Bob Randall, and 25 of those years he was using 10 marijuana cigarettes a day, federally supplied. And I can assure you he was not a stoner. He had a terrific...
Live from Earth 2 Listen Vision Studios from the Handmaiden Tale universe. This is Mother Foxer News. Are you ready to make the ultimate sacrifice? Then get ready for the No Shit Zone with Dr. Righty McRighty, evil physician for the people. Next, tonight's topic, is the death penalty too good for Michelle Wolf? Whitey McRighty.
Issue number 2. If we don't make an example of her, how can we expect women behave? Number 3. Does basic torture work in an age of modern excitement?
I don't know.
Shall I even go so far as to say titillation?
Oh.
Can we say titillation?
Is torture
I
good
can't
enough?
stop saying titillation. I
can't.
find it titillating.
Oh.
Moving on.
Yes, sir.
Have we become jaded?
Oh.
Are we ready for microwave nipple clamps?
You're right. We need to think about microwave nipple clamps.
Number 4.
Yes, sir.
Will the Huckleberry Death Squad ask permission of First Citizen and Commander-in-Chief, or do these brave Americans have just cause for frontier justice in defending Sarah?
Everyone knows the Huckabee Death Squad is well within its rights to protect its lady and property, Sarah Huckabee Sanders' bitch, from that Michelle Wolf onslaught of free speech. Oh, you just can't do that. The First Citizen and Commander-in-Chief DJ Trump, his number 1. She's out there, and she's working hard for the man. Now, DJ Trump, what you gonna do? Your country looks to you. All right, Dr. Righty McRighty will be back after a couple of messages for your own. Right on.
Why it was criminalized because they were associated with poor people, dangerous classes.